story to tell.
Y'all niggas ain't gonna believe what the fuck happened to me.
Hey guys, welcome to the No Label Show. We back again. Today we have a special guest. I'll let her introduce herself, and we're gonna ask some questions.
Well, my name is Yasmeen. I'm Majid. That is my Muslim name. And when people say, "What is your government name?" I say Yasmeen Amatullah Majid, because I legally changed my name. I'm known, and I'm not offended when people say Jennifer, because that's the name my mother gave me, right. Jennifer. So I still, I'm not offended if I say, and it's based on. There's a comrade of mine who said, based on who you are is who I am to you, right. And that's the same thing I feel about my name. So for some, I'm known as Jennifer, Jen, and then for others, I'm known as Yaz and Yazzie.
Okay. Yaz and Yazzie. That's a beautiful name, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm a 70s baby.
Okay.
So sometimes, most of the time, we talk about current events, politics. Sometimes it gets a little rough because of the things that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So you're before us.
Right.
So we want to know your time, your past, your present, and your future. Right. So we'll start with, being that I'm a 70s baby, I'm assuming you're a little older than I am.
I'm much older than you.
All right.
I'm a 50s baby, and I'm part of that. I'm 75.
Wow.
And I'm part of that generation that thought we was going to change the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And may I say, you look stunning for 75.
Yeah, I'm 75. If Allah bless me, in 26, I'll be 76 years old.
Wow, God bless.
And at the age of 18, I never thought that I would live until I was 21. So that's because of the movement and what I was doing at that time. I'm a child of that, the movement, and when I say the movement, we had a revolutionary struggle. We thought we was going to change the world, and we had all of these ideas about perhaps changing the world for the better. And so I'm one of those, what they would call radical. Okay. I was born in North Carolina, in the South. I'm an only child, but I was raised in not a nuclear family. I was raised in a traditional African type family, where it's not just you have grandmothers, aunts, uncles, everyone living together as a unit, and that's the kind of family I was raised in. My mom was the matriarch because her mother died when she had a baby that was in 1947, and my mother took the child because she was the oldest sibling.
Right.
And so I was raised with them. And so I was raised in a household with uncles and aunts, and everybody else came and stayed at our house. So I don't feel like when people say only child, I'm definitely not an only child, because I was raised in a family with aunts and uncles, and I was just happened to be the baby in the mix.
Wow.
But that's it.
Wow.
So about that time, it was more family structure than it would be today.
I would think what the difference is the nuclear family. Most in this day and time, people only think about the mother, the father, and the children. Right. But in my time, and it was because of conditions of the time, it was more of the family just didn't consist of mother, father, and ideally. And at that time, my mother, when they talk about single parents, my mother was a single parent, but our household wasn't a nuclear household, and it wasn't a single parent household in a way, you know what I mean, what society would call that.
Right.
Because I had aunts that lived with us, I had uncles that lived with us and supported each other. We was truly a village. when they talk about, in our day, we used to say it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And surely the community, living in a black community and everything, is that village. And that's what I don't see today.
Okay.
I think that today people look more for themselves. It's like the I generation, and we was really truly the we generation. And that's for survival. You know, we had to survive that way. When we talk about, especially in the South, and then moving to the North. I came to the North when I was 5.
Okay.
Where you from?
I'm from North Carolina.
North Carolina. Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
from North Carolina.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's a little town. Well, I was born in Lumberton, North Carolina. It's on 95. But I was raised for my first few years. The place was called Elizabethtown. It's on the eastern coast of North Carolina, between close to South Carolina, but in that area.
In that area.
Yeah, like
So it's just straight
Fort
down
Bragg.
95.
Straight down 95. You go straight down 95 to get to where I used to live.
Okay. And you moved north when you was 5?
My mom moved to North Carolina. I mean, moved to New York when I was 5,
Right.
and it was for better conditions, because my mom, the only income at that time in the South, you know, for certain people was to do well, was bootlegging. You know what bootlegging is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
then.
definitely know.
Okay. And my mom and them, they that's what they used to do.
Okay.
And she started getting scared because she had her brothers and her sister living with her and her baby, and she was looking for a better way of life. So she moved to New York in Corona in 1955. And soon after, I started my education in New York.
Okay.
And so right after that, me and my aunt and then my uncles and everybody started coming to New York. So
Eventually New York,
the whole
you ended up
family,
with the structure.
yeah, the whole family ended up in New York in Corona, Corona, and
Wow.
we was in Corona until I moved to the Rockaways and
Wow.
when Keenan and Ife, you know,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so that's from 1 to 5, North Carolina. 5 to when you said something.
40 or something
Okay,
like
but
that.
I'm gonna start at 18
Oh, 18.
because when you said from 18 to 21,
Yes,
you didn't think you was gonna make it to 21.
exactly.
So okay, so 18, you pretty much grown.
Yeah.
Finished high school.
No. My transition happened in high school. We were seniors, and it was the year that Martin Luther King was murdered or assassinated.
Wow.
And from that day until today, I never stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't do any of that stuff.
Right.
So from 18, our first form of resistance was not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we were 8, and I was 18 when I stopped, and I haven't done it since. And so that's the trend. I started the transition of actually being involved in the movement and activism. But it was the time. It was 1968. 68. If you go back to history, 68 people were being like Martin Luther King getting murdered.
Right.
But interesting enough, in 1965, February 21st, 1965, I write in my diary that Malcolm X has been killed, assassinated.
Wow.
But somebody else also died during that period. And I have it in my little diary. Nat King Cole. He died February 14, 1965.
Wow.
And I had all of this in my diary that I found about 8 or 9 years ago. So it's the diary of a 15-year-old.
Wow.
And I'm reading it and seeing actually the current events, but also feelings and all of that stuff was in it. So it was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an archive, man.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I have that, and just so much, you know. I was 2 weeks ago. I was in Philadelphia at a Black men educators convening session. I was on the panel, and what was so interesting about it is that it was 1,500 educators in this place, and they was asking us about different stuff, and it came up that really the difference in what was happening when we was growing up, the kids were saying, well, they're having a great time, they were saying this is a good time to live, and I said no. In 1969 was a good time to live because of what was happening at the time.
Because if I'm not mistaken, 1964 is when the Voting Act went into law.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So before, you was born before that.
Oh yeah, I was born in the time of segregation.
Right. And you lived in the South. So
and I lived in the South for 5 years, but I used to go to the South every summer for until I was like 16, 17 years old. So I know about an outhouse and going into a restaurant. We didn't go into the front door. We would have to go to the back door and get our food from the back door. I remember all of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Going to the South and accidentally walking into the front of a restaurant and not realizing that you can't do that in the South. Yeah, segregation was a negative thing, but I found out 2 weeks ago that one of the worst things that happened during the time of Brown versus the Board of Ed and all of that is we lost 100,000 educators. Black educators lost their jobs because of segregation, because of the integration.
That somewhat sounds like the DEI situation that we're going through right
Exactly.
but there's a saying, if you don't know your history, you
bound to repeat it. Yeah.
Okay.
If we don't know our history, and what you guys are doing is excellent, because there is an African proverb that says, until the lion tells his story, the true story or the nature of the lion will never be told as long as it's told by the hunter.
Right.
And what y'all are doing is excellent, because you're being able to tell our stories.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing.
That's deep. So 68, you was 15?
I was
18.
I was born in 1950.
Okay, 1950. So 68, you was 18. Not 70. So 4 years later, I was born.
Yeah.
So that would be 72.
Okay.
From 72, at 77, I was 5.
Okay. Okay.
Running around snot nose,
Yeah.
not really caring what's going on because
Yeah.
I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so my come up is a little different. I don't know some of the struggles y'all went through. There was still struggles in that in the 70s.
Oh, definitely.
But it tended to start moving forward to get a little better. Would you say?
I don't think so.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because our struggle is a continuum of our struggle, and we'll always have that struggle. But it doesn't. I see it today as it hasn't gotten better because we don't know our history, and what we think is good, it's not. It's not. It's so I don't see where some of the strides and things that we did or we went through, we're taking steps back. And the steps back is because of the lack of history and the knowledge, so that we could move a little bit further. Because certain things that the people today are fighting for is the same things that we fought for in our time. But because the government has not allowed us to keep our history, and so that we could move forward, we're moving backwards.
Right.
So that's why I said that. It's like.
And being that you said that, some people don't know about the Emmett Till story.
That's true.
You know about the Emmett Till story.
Oh yeah, I know about Emmett Till. I can remember the Jet magazine with the Emmett Till story.
Right.
Jet magazine was a black magazine back in the days.
Right. Yes, it was.
Yes. We had Jet and Ebony. And Jet was the little magazine that came out. Yeah, I have a couple of them at home.
Wow.
Yeah, and that particular one, as a kid, it scared me to death when I saw Emmett Till's in the coffin.
Picture, yeah, had
In
in
the
the front.
coffin, I was scared. I had to sleep with my mother that night. That's how. That's
Right,
how.
because his mother refused to let it be a closed casket because she wanted the world to see
She
what
wanted
they
to
did.
see what they did
to
to
her
us.
child.
Exactly. Yeah, Emmett Till was. We have actually that in July. I went to California. One of my friends, he turned 90,
Wow.
and when you ask him how did he get involved in the movement, and he always brings up Emmett Till. If we talk about us here in Queens, we always bring up Clifford Glover.
Right. I heard about that.
Yeah, right here on Hillside. I
Right.
mean, not Hillside, but Guy Brewer.
Right.
But it was New York Avenue at the
At the
time, a 12-year-old that was killed. And we talk about him, because it's that same thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just revisited.
revisited. So and stuff like that happens because we don't know our history. We forget about it. I can remember at 18 is one of the other things that in my life is starting to really read. Before that, I used to read comic books, the romantic books, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I was reading, but reading nonsense, really.
Right.
In 1960, again, another change, 68, I bought Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver. And in Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver, he talks about Paul Robeson. And I didn't know who Paul Robeson was.
Right.
So, not knowing who Paul Robeson was, I started saying, well, who is he? Who is he? You know what I mean? And I went and I got a book on Paul Robeson, and I got mad because I said, why don't I know who Paul Robeson is? This man was he was great. And why didn't I know about him? Because then I started only reading black books, biographies, only biographies,
Right.
and only black. So to get to know, and that's when I could truly say, if you don't know your history, you're really lost. You're
Right.
really lost. You have to go back and start to read. And so to this day, when we go to the pilgrimage for Malcolm, because Malcolm is funeral, not his funeral, but his birthday, May 19th, there's a pilgrimage that goes up to the grave.
Wow.
And while we're up there, I go to Paul Robeson's grave because he's buried there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And and lay flowers on him because this man, the things that he did was so great, and we don't know who Paul Robeson is.
He was an actor, right? He was
Not just
an actor. He was an activist.
He was an activist. Paul Robeson was a scholar.
A scholar.
He
yeah.
was a lawyer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a lawyer.
Wow.
He was banned. This country banned him from going to perform because he was a performer. He
Right.
did like Othello and all of that
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
And he got banned because they linked him as a communist. They linked him to the communists, and
Wow.
they called him a communist. So he wasn't able to make money
Right.
for his family or anything because
Wow.
they took his passport.
Wow, I
Yeah,
never knew that.
Paul Robeson, but so you see what they did because at that time is if you look up the McCarthy era, Paul Robeson's name is listed as one of them,
Wow.
as a communist
Wow.
through when they was doing the hunt. Because that's
Right.
the other thing about our struggle as a people. It's okay for other people to do stuff, but black folks, when you start to get enlightened, when you start to know who you are, and
Be a
you
threat.
only know you
It's a
are,
threat.
it's
Be
a
a threat.
real threat,
Be a
and
threat.
and they get scared
Because
right
I'm
away.
listening to you, and sometimes I lose my memory. So
Yeah.
you gotta excuse me.
That's okay.
Yes, I feel today's generation would rather be entertained than enlightened. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, but why do you think that? Why do you think that they? What what makes them be that way? Why?
I would say, I feel it's like the microwave generation. They need everything now.
The government struck the way that they.
But that's intentional. That's
Right.
intentional on the
Right.
government's part.
On government's part.
Yeah, it's not the it's
But like when you say Paul
Robeson.
Robeson, in my mind, it went back to there's so many black inventors that people don't even know about.
Of course.
That things that we still use today,
Right.
which changed the world.
Exactly.
And then when you brought up Paul, the government came in my brain as well.
Right.
No, we got to stop that because they got too much influence, which makes us a threat.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's all in design.
It very much so. Very much so. And the thing is, because our lack of history, a lack of knowledge of our history, has a lot to do with it. And people that have was involved in my generation's age, they're all dying out.
Right.
And like I can be, I have this button. This brother, Sunni Ali. He was a jazz musician, and he was the person that played the flute in the Last Poets.
Wow.
But they were all part of the Black Panther Party.
Right.
And so that knowledge of, and what they said about America was never afraid of, like I was a Panther, right? So, but the thing is, what they said about us as Panthers, what was the greatest threat to the society of that time? Security of that time, the greatest security risk of the society was the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the breakfast program.
Right.
Does that make any sense? The breakfast program, because we started feeding kids before
In
they
school?
went to school.
Before they went to
We used to get up at 4 and 5 o'clock in
was
the
a whole
morning,
program.
and that's one of the main programs that the Black Panther Party had, and we started that program. But J. Edgar Hoover looked at it as a threat because we was feeding children. Isn't that something? So they said the way to get rid of it is that the schools start to feed the children. But that was fine.
But they leave out that.
Yeah. When they think about the Black Panther Party, the first thing that they think
Radical.
about is the radical, the guns, the fact that they were militant,
Right.
and the fact that they carried guns, and the fact that they were thug. The word thug didn't exist at that time, but that's what it was like considered today. If you look at today's time, they were thugs, okay? But the fact that 60% of the Black Panther Party was women, they never talk about that.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah.
60%?
60% of the Black Panther Party at the height of the Black Panther Party was women.
Women. A lot of women involved.
Yeah.
That president was instrumental in
Can I ask why?
just
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why was it 60% women at that time?
It because of if you look at this, I'll just say this to you. If you look at the civil rights movement, any of the movements that's happened in this country, women was high in every one of them. But they bring up the men, and one of the main reasons that they talk about the men is because they can't create a negative. How do you can't create a negative thing with women, but you can definitely create it with a black man.
Yep.
And so that's the issue. Like, the fact how the government could not have destroyed the Black Panther Party if it was revealed that 60% of the party was women.
Right.
But they were scared of the black man.
Yes, they
So
was.
they say, okay, he hates the guns, all of that stuff. They bring out that as the reason to destroy it.
It was a negative narrative that president, he even wrote. I even read things. I don't even know how a president would be allowed to just target people that way.
But they do. That's
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
state. That's America.
Yeah.
America is the most. America has the most prisons.
Right.
America has. You can go to. You can go to Sweden, kill somebody, and you're going to get 7 years. They don't have the death penalty,
Wow.
and they have less people being killed in Sweden than they do in America.
They're doing America.
Because the prison system is a business.
Yeah, oh,
Prison
definitely.
industrial system.
The prison system is the new slave system. Is
Right.
in fact that it's in the Constitution that that
It's the only way you could go become a slave when you lose all your rights.
right
You're basically a slave.
it's and that they kept that
Yeah.
in so that but people that go to jail they lose all their rights.
Right.
They can't vote. They can't do all of these
Right.
other things,
Right.
and it's because of the whole narrative of slavery. It's
Right.
still
They reworded it. You can't say slavery no more.
right.
So you say prison.
It's
'Cause it
reinstitutionalized.
doesn't, right. It doesn't sound as offensive
Well,
as.
it's criminal.
Yeah.
It's criminals is what we're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
But we still have so many people that's in the prison system that don't belong there.
That's true. And then I have my brother who
But
did-
being that it is a business,
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to keep a full capacity
Oh, that's right.
because now a lot of these prisons are privatized.
Oh, exactly.
Prison
So
industrial
they was
system.
guaranteed by the government to
You
have
could commit
a certain amount of
people.
people,
Right.
Right.
They
which, like you said, is still the continuation form of slavery.
exactly. We had one of my brothers. He was in the shoe jail. You know what the shoe is? The shoe is like a solitary confinement. They have the jails in New York. There's a jail where if you do anything in any other jail, you're shipped
To
to
that.
that prison. It got to the point where they didn't have enough people to go to the shoe.
Wow.
So they was making people that was sent to the shoe stay in the shoe, even though they wasn't they should have come out of the
Right,
shoe.
right.
But because of the fact that they didn't have people doing these crimes that they were saying that they
Right.
so it is definitely a business. And they also used there's a I can't think of the name of the movie. There's a documentary about it.
Wow.
about the whole prison industrial complex.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing. They were even targeting. They would even target kids in school. They would how
Fourth grade.
how you would do in school. They would like calculate.
And say this, you're going to end up in jail.
Right. Wow,
In the
that's-
fourth grade, it's the fourth grade.
Stereotype.
Yeah.
Diabolical right there.
Yeah.
You know, we I think we are definitely were a threat, but I just can't get over. You know,
Just
We
correct-
didn't pick
let me
up-
just correct. Were?
well,
I don't
still
believe-
is.
Yeah.
Still
That's
is.
what I'm trying to
But
think.
I'm
Yeah.
going back.
Right.
Then we didn't come here on our own free will. We were
Exactly.
born here.
You were the only people.
Okay, and they had to quote unquote free us, and it just started a whole. It's just
That's
that
when-
time you're talking about was I've seen a couple of documentaries, especially with that president. I remember just watching like, how could a person in charge target people that way? Like the Black Panthers, he would
But you think about
any
it.
group
That
or
was
whatever.
that was Hoover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a building named after him, right?
Oh yeah, they
Hoover
always
was
name
FBI.
places after
Right.
these
Yeah.
people, man.
But
And-
if we look at time, let's not forget our black president. He was the president of the United States. He was not the president had the interest of black people in mind.
Oh,
And people
yeah.
talk about him as some great messiah.
I
but
know
he
who you're
did some
talking about.
horrible-
You talking about so-called Obama.
Obama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
yeah. I got duped. I got duped the first time. I voted for him the first time.
Yeah.
Second time, I didn't.
Yeah,
But
because
you're right.
because what does he say? What does he say after everything? God bless America.
Yeah, right, right,
And
right.
that quote alone is an act
Yeah,
of power,
right,
the power. But in reality, the United States are punks.
right. Uh huh.
Because if you look at what's going on right now with Venezuela,
Okay.
when that when that when that president said you don't want a guerrilla warfare,
Right.
because the U.S. has never won in a guerrilla
A
warfare.
guerrilla warfare.
Never.
Never will.
Never. Because that means face to face
Right,
fighting with
right,
someone.
right, right, right,
And
right.
the U.S. never have won that.
Yeah.
Kind
A
of.
la Vietnam, man.
Right, right.
They didn't win
Afghanistan,
that.
Right.
Yeah.
all the others, but Vietnam is a key
But
example.
even in Afghanistan, Russia went over there first, and they lost.
Yeah, they kicked their butts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not a terrain for us.
Right.
Not to win.
Right. Right.
You know,
If you
right.
if we go back, I was watching, yesterday on the news about Japan. It was Pearl Harbor. So
Right.
remember what happened in Pearl Harbor?
Mm-hmm.
They had they bombed Pearl Harbor. The Japanese
Right.
strategically bombed Pearl Harbor, and then look what happened to the Japanese.
Yeah,
They
they got
put an atomic
Bomb
bomb.
over there.
twice. They hit them twice.
Hit them twice, exactly.
Yeah, they hit them. They hit them
Yeah.
twice, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
So so we're gonna move a little forward.
yeah, we talked about yes.
I'm getting there.
You were involved in the Black Panther movement.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I'm a panther.
I'm getting there.
I'm a panther.
Okay.
I'm getting
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, 'cause I want to hear
there.
about.
So let's move to age 21. So you made it. You didn't think you was gonna make
Right.
it to 21.
Okay.
So at 21, how did you feel?
Still thinking that something was going to happen. I have a letter at home that I wrote to my daughter, Ife, thinking that if actually 70, 71, you still think that you're going to die because you're involved in the movement, you're a Panther. And I wrote a letter to Ife telling her about different things to get her history together, pulling stuff, and I started collecting just different information. And I said, just in case something happens, so that you'll know this part of your history, and just in case something happens. So it wasn't until I think, and I always made this prayer. I always prayed that, okay, God, since you let me live this long, let me live until my daughters are grown, you know. And then I started saying, okay, God, you can let me live longer than that. But those were the things. So it never left me. Being a Panther never left the feeling, the fear that perhaps you're going to die. Because interesting, I joined the Black Panther Party. I was 18. Panthers, the age of the Black Panther Party was 14 to 26. The oldest person that I know of was Eldridge Cleaver, and we called him Papa Rage, and he was 30.
Wow.
But in every revolutionary movement, in every struggle around the world, it's always young people. It's not people that are settled. It's not people that have any that have risks. Because if you're older, then you're thinking about your life, your livelihood, you have families and all that. That's not the case. And that if you go look at any war, like, you know, across, it's always young people. So the Panthers fit that mold, you know. So I joined I joined in 1968. I belonged to the Brothers and Sisters for African American Unity.
Okay.
That was my first thing, and it was during the school strike in Brooklyn. Brooklyn had the Ocean Hill-Brownsville school strike, and the school, it started in Ocean Hill-Brownsville, but at that time there was a citywide school strike, and at 18, I was one of the kids. I was part of Brothers and Sisters for African American Unity in Brooklyn, and so we used to go to Ocean Hill-Brownsville to teach the kids. This was in IS 271, and this, but it was a strike against centralization of the school system, because at that time the schools were controlled by, well, the teachers, but the teachers union was very powerful, and they controlled stuff. And we, our group, our age group, we were the one that created decentralization of the school system and having community school boards.
Right.
All of that happened during my time. You know,
Wow.
when I was in not a teenager, but you know, I graduated from Forest Hills High School, and I was going to New York City Tech, and we were all involved in the school stuff. And then I thought about it, and I said, why am I in Queens? I was going to school in Brooklyn, and I said, why am I in Brooklyn doing all this stuff? And in Corona, a Black Panther Party had started. So I joined the Black Panther Party in Corona.
Wow.
And the Black Panther Party in Corona was actually a subsection of the Jamaica chapter of the Black Panther Party.
Wow.
Yeah. Right on New York Boulevard, which is Guy Brewer, there was a Panther office in 119th Avenue. You know,
There was an office up there?
yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
never knew
In
that.
fact, they're going to try right now. They're going to try to create something, a
Right.
marker for
Wow.
we're trying to create markers and stuff for where Panther offices used to be.
Wow.
And the first one that we've done in New York so far is in Harlem on 122nd Street, and I think it's Adam Clayton.
So you were familiar with Matula Shakur and,
Yeah, I write to Matula.
and Tupac's mother
Afeni.
Afeni?
Yeah, I know Afeni.
and Asada Shakur.
I didn't know Asada.
Right. She just passed recently.
I know, to 23rd of
Wow.
September.
Wow.
They're going to have a memorial for her in New York.
Okay. Yeah, they should.
They're going to have a memorial. But I know Asada's daughter, Kakulia, and I know her baby daddy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So
he's-
at this point, I'm gonna give off a service announcement
okay.
based on the information you've given me so far.
Okay.
I hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding when you talk.
Shukran.
It's the whole trifecta. You make it clear, you give it visual, and it makes sense. It's like opening up a book and actually reading the words. That's how I see, from the interview so far, that's how I'm interpreting the things that you say.
Okay.
So we at age 21, so we in the 70s. Pretty much our generation when we were being born and
Exactly.
running around.
Right.
I listen, I believe some of the greatest music was in my parents' time. And we still all can listen to it today. And it's not old school to us.
Yeah.
It's a different vibration.
Right.
We can party to it. We
Right.
can have memories.
Right.
We can talk about things. It never gets old. It's like a thread of time that never can be destroyed.
Okay.
So, and that's the vibe I get from you. It's like you've been here forever. No disrespect.
Right.
But, you know, back in our days, we had to look in an encyclopedia to get information. Then we moved into the internet. Everything is right now.
Exactly.
You understand?
Instant.
But,
It's nothing better to have a
like,
elder.
yeah,
Let me
the
tell
elder, right.
Right.
You've given us the encyclopedia
Right.
definition of things.
Can I just say this to you? I've been blessed at the age of 18 doing security for Betty Shabazz,
Wow.
for her daughters, you know.
Wow.
There's a video, there's a documentary that they just started showing about Soul, the Summer of Soul. Have you heard of that? there's a documentary called Summer of Soul. They compared it to Woodstock. Somebody found this documentary in their basement.
Okay.
Well, I'm here to tell you this. I was doing the security on that roof at the thing.
Yeah.
At the concert. So check out Summer of Soul
That's when they had the big concert
in the park.
in the park.
Yes,
Right,
I was
right.
doing security. I was
Wow.
one of those on the rocks at Mount Morris
Wow,
Park.
wow.
At that time called Mount Morris. It's called Martha's Garvey.
Right.
And I was there doing the security. The part of the Panthers were there doing security.
Wow.
And I was one of those Panthers. So, but what I wanted to get to is, I not only doing that, but then I've been blessed to have sat on the floor listening to Dr. Henry Clark
Wow.
and Dr. Ben and them talk. And if you know, you may not know who they are, but they are our. I can't even compare myself to them.
Right.
But I pray that I'm able to give that same information, because Dr. Clark and them was serious.
Right.
And I just want to be able to do that same thing at my age, that they did to us. You know, look up Dr. Clark. Look up
Okay.
Dr. Henry Clark.
Henry Clark.
Look him up. And on Wednesday at the Schomburg, they're having a special on Queen Mother Moore. She
Okay.
was another one. She was part of the Marcus Garvey movement.
Wow.
And so I've been blessed to have lived in a time where I actually sat with Queen Mother Moore, listened to Queen Mother Moore, listened to Dr. Henry Clark,
Right.
Dr. Ben Sertima, now Dr. Henry Leonard Jeffries, and all of them.
Right.
So that's where any place there was knowledge to be gotten, you know, like for as far as African people were concerned, I've made my business to try to be knowledgeable about it. And that's a lesson that we learned in the Black Panther Party, because we read a whole lot.
I know this man. I've seen
Dr.
a lot.
Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
yeah, and we
Wow.
used to go to things. We used to even go to his house
Wow.
and listen to him talk. So that's where my knowledge is coming from. When just recent, not just recently, but 30 years ago, when they unearthed the federal building in Manhattan and found those bones
Right.
of the Africans. Well,
Right.
we was part of the folks that went when they reinterned them.
Yeah.
That we was there.
Wow.
So that's the kind of stuff that, you know, I've been blessed to be around,
Right.
and blessed to be around other, you know, people. I had a relationship, like, to know Muhammad Ali, you know.
Wow.
So, and Tupac, mom, Alfani, she was the section leader of the Harlem branch of the Black Panther Party.
Wow.
And in 1990, after Tupac died in 96, 97, women got together. So Panther women, we were still together.
Right.
You know, and Alfani was one of us. So we know Alfani. I had the privilege, and if you ever have the opportunity to go to Cuba,
Right.
I had the privilege last year to go to Cuba.
go to Cuba.
I didn't see Asada because she wasn't well,
Right.
but I was I was part of a group that went, and you can go to Cuba if you go there for the interests of the Cuban people.
Right.
You know, you can't go there for tourism, but you
Right,
can go
educational
as
purposes
educational.
and
And I
stuff
was
like that.
blessed to be on a group. I went with a group. The sister was a Panther. She's a Panther,
Right.
and she was a writer. And she and Asada were close.
Right.
And in fact, when she was in Cuba, she and Asada lived together.
Wow.
In Cuba. So
Wow.
and I got a chance to meet the president
Wow.
of Cuba.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a program. If y'all know any young people that are interested in becoming doctors, Cuba has
Cuba
a
has one
Some of the best doctors in the world.
yeah. But guess what? It's free.
Yeah.
The education is
It's
free. And
Absolutely.
they have doctors, they have young people coming from all over the world
Wow.
to go there and
To study.
and to study. And the only requirement is when they go back to their countries, they have to work in a place where they need doctors for
Right.
5 years, just 5 years.
Right. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Cuba is
Yeah, I've heard that. Like,
yeah,
the
it's
doctors
very
are-
yeah, it's a very and we went because there's an organization in New York called IFCO. It's an
I heard of
interreligious
that.
IFCO. Well, IFCO for years have had caravans taking medicine doc stuff to Cuba,
Wow.
and they also send young people there for they support the kids from the United States that go to Cuba for education, for to become doctors.
Wow.
And they
That's
had
a
and they
good
had a
thing.
graduation. They had a
Wow.
graduation.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a friend that went to Cuba a few years ago. He's been a couple of times, man. And, he, like, those people get paid. I think a doctor makes maybe $40 a month or some crazy number
Right.
like that. And they have some of the best doctors.
Yeah.
I can't get I just can't get over the
But they train the doctors in Cuba
Yeah.
to go out on the world.
right
Yeah.
right.
That's why they hate Cuba. America hates
Right,
Cuba.
right.
But America hates Cuba because
They didn't conform. But
because 60 years of an embargo and they're still standing strong.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's it's part of our responsibility to try to help.
It's only 90 miles off from Miami.
Right.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's so close.
Yeah.
And so much history and
Oh yeah.
knowledge there.
And Fidel, I got a new appreciation for Fidel while we was there because every African independent movement, Fidel sent soldiers to help them win their independence. So he's done that for every African country that's
right.
gotten independence.
Wow.
Fidel has soldiers. So when Nelson Mandela came home, America wanted Nelson Mandela to denounce Castro, but he refused
Right.
because of the work that
Right.
the ANC did.
Right,
That
right.
they were supporting the ANC. Fidel supported them.
wow. I never knew that.
Yeah, so Fidel has supported everybody.
Wow.
And I can't remember which African country needed blood, and Fidel donated his own blood.
Wow.
That's the kind of man he was.
Wow.
So
I bless
it was.
him.
I can't remember what incident happened.
They
in
don't
Africa.
tell us that.
No,
They don't tell us
This-
the story.
America never
America,
will
you
tell.
know.
Will never tell us the stories. That's why I said travel is so important.
Right.
It's
Right,
very important.
right. Well,
Yeah.
America is always his story.
Right. Right.
They're never gonna,
That's
you
why
know,
his history start off with his
right, his story. You know, you have to.
Yeah, America's story. You see what they're trying to do in the schools and everything. And just last week, this man he took Martin Luther King and Juneteenth off of the Parks Department's calendar and
Oh.
put his birthday and Teddy Roosevelt's birthday
right.
on their calendar.
What I'm reading is they're saying that it's like you can't go into the parks free on those days.
On those days, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it used to be that you could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
what
now
the
they're
reason
gonna,
for
they're gonna
that.
charge you for the holiday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're trying to wipe out the holidays like Juneteenth and
Right.
and Martin Luther King's birthday. They're trying to wipe it out. Yeah.
Which I think is an part of a, you'll have people liking this president or this person or that person, but whoever's the president, whether I like him or I don't like him or he like him, he don't like him, they all have some type of agenda that they have to abide by under the United States,
Right.
and that's probably one of them.
It's corporation.
Yeah, like
they know
No,
who
you
the
got to
president
pass
is.
this while you in office.
Yeah, but Trump is his own. He's so
You're anti Donald Trump.
No, I'm anti-America.
I like that. I like that. I like that because at the end of the day, right,
And we, when we was in the Black Panther Party, one of our sayings was "All power to the people."
right,
All power to the people. If we really took that and utilized it,
Yeah.
it would be
change
so.
the world.
It would change the world.
yeah. Because
It
the
would
people
definitely-
have the power,
but they
really.
they don't, but they've given it to just a few.
Right.
And that's the tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
of,
Wow.
Okay, so the 70s,
we still
drugs was infused into our communities.
not the 70s,
That-
60s.
the 60s.
60s.
The 60s. Our drugs were, you could buy, I always tell this story, you could buy in the 60s a nickel bag of marijuana, but guess how much heroin cost? $2.
$2? Are you serious?
Yeah,
Get you strung out.
Are you serious?
yeah, $2 for marijuana,
Wow.
for heroin. Nickel bag. That's where nickel bag came from with the marijuana.
That'll do you in.
That's it.
Once you start using that, that's it.
And then the myth to say, oh, if you start smoking,
Right.
that you eventually going to use heroin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just a myth,
Yeah. They
because
try
I
to say
can't
it's
think
a
of
gateway.
anybody in our day that didn't smoke.
Right.
Everybody smoked.
Right.
It may be worse today, but everybody smoked
Right.
in
Yeah,
the
that was
60s and 70s. Yeah, most of us was introduced to marijuana back then.
Right.
And I'll give you a little interesting story about marijuana in the Black Panther Party. In the Black Panther Party, there was rules. You couldn't drink, you couldn't smoke, you couldn't do a lot of stuff during party time.
Right.
And in Corona, we had a telephone. And how do we know that our telephone was tapped? Guess what we never paid?
telephone bill.
A telephone bill.
They won't turn it off.
They never turned off our
They
bill.
never turn it off. That's how you
But
know it's happening.
the other thing that Panthers had a way of talking. So people, they called you different names, like everybody was JB, well, CJ or whatever
Right.
your name was. We had Canary because he sang, and
Right, right.
but that's a black person. That's
Right.
black folks.
Yeah.
One of the names for weed at that time was Brother Roogie.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I've
it was
never
called
heard
it was called Brother Roogie.
of that. Wow.
And the FBI was always looking for Brother Roogie.
They didn't know what it was. You don't know the name.
They looking for a person.
'Cause
Brother Roogie.
we called it Brother
Brother
Roogie.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I've never heard
that's
that.
a Panther called weed Brother Roogie.
Wow.
And Roogie, in some of the documents from the Freedom of Information that people's had, they talk about how, we never was able to catch that's just Brother Rookie, but he seemed to be everywhere.
Everywhere, right? You smoking them.
Because
Wow.
he was smoking.
Wow. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
All the documentaries.
Oh,
I've-
you won't have that in the doc. I'm giving you information that you
Yeah,
would not
wow.
have in the
Great stuff.
documentary. It would not be in any documentary. Panthers talk about that. I'm
Wow.
there's a saying that we used to say, "Those who know
No,
don't say,
don't say.
and those who say don't know
tell. Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know."
Yeah.
But I'm giving you some of those that
Wow.
know that we
Wow.
did these things, because it's like a lot more information on people in the Black Panther Party will probably come out now because a lot of people are dead. So that you can't, because we've had Panthers have been in jail as long as old as you guys are.
Right.
Because we have political prisoners,
Right.
but they're dying And so some of the stuff, what they did to the Black Panther Party is they criminalized the movement.
How they do?
Like they do, but that's what they did. So people were charged with all kinds of stuff, and the main thing that a lot of Panthers was charged with was killing police officers.
Killing police officers.
And with that, they were charged with that. And but it was a different time, because at the height of the Black Panther Party, more Panthers was killed by police than regular citizens. Before the Black Panther Party, more citizens, regular people that didn't have like our Clifford Glovers and people like that, was killed.
Wow.
But after the party started and the Black Underground happened, that stopped it because police were being killed.
Wow.
You know the story of Fred Hampton.
Yes, I
right?
do.
But do you know the story of 41st and Central?
No.
41st and Central, Fred's, December 4th is the day they murdered Fred and Mark Clark.
Right.
December 8th, there was a shootout in California.
Wow.
Where the party was attacked, the office was attacked. The difference is nobody was killed.
Okay.
And the difference was Panther shot back. And it was the first time when you see SWAT, the group SWAT, that was the first time SWAT has ever been used. Was with the Panthers in Los Angeles.
Wow.
They never, and the interesting thing about why they wasn't killed was the community. But the other interesting thing about the LA, because they did the same exact thing that they did to Fred. The same actual action happened in Chicago, happened in LA. Like I said, the difference was Panthers were alert and they shot back.
Right.
And when it was time to surrender, who was the first person to walk out that door? A sister.
A sister.
Because they was in the shootout, and the Sister Peaches, she's the one, and that stopped the shooting.
Wow. Man. It's
a history lesson right here.
They wouldn't stop. I've seen a few documentaries. They wouldn't stop till they got all of the Panthers in these groups like under control, and that was the main thing for these people.
But it was never under control. It was never under control.
You know, if you listen to where it originated from, y'all was giving out school lunch.
No, breakfast.
Breakfast
Program.
It was
never a violent.
It only became violent
when he was attacked.
When he was attacked,
right.
And the picture of the Panther, it comes from Alabama, Lowndes County, Alabama.
Wow.
The party of Lowndes County, Alabama, the voting rights, they were the ones that used the Panther. And because the other group, I think they used a chicken or something, the Democratic clubs.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is Lowndes County started the Democrat. They was trying to become part of the Democratic Club. So the Democratic Club of Lowndes County, Alabama, chose the Panther as their symbol. And the Black Panther Party, when it started in 1966, went to Lowndes County to get permission to use that Panther.
Wow.
So that Panther became the picture. But the thing about a Panther is a Panther never attacks.
Right.
And that's the motto, is the Panther never attacks. So Black Panthers never attacked.
Wow.
It was only when attacked.
Only
that you defend itself.
Yeah.
And so that's why in the original name of the Black Panther Party was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense.
Wow. Of course. Well, they're going to always try to create a narrative, a certain type of narrative to change the...
But the breakfast program was not the only program. It was called Survival Programs Pending Revolution. Okay. So what happened is that there was all kinds of programs. The Panthers had the breakfast program. The Panthers had the free bus to prison program.
All right.
At that time, people, senior citizens was, had getting their checks and stuff.
Right.
So they had an escort service for people.
Okay.
They had free medical centers.
Wow.
Yeah. And they had free medical centers. And the testing for sickle cell anemia was done by the Panthers. That was the first time that you guys, as babies, got the testing, but it was originally done through the Black Panther Party. That was another program that the government took over.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
The Black Panther, as I'm, seeing, the Black Panther Party is really, they did a lot and tried to do a lot to,
And it was
uplift us as a people.
As a people, but you have to
It
understand
had to be infiltrated
it was infiltrated.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
because you guys were a real threat.
right?
You
The thing
guys,
the thing
if
is-
y'all was able to roam is the way y'all want, the world would be different today.
Oh, it would be. This is something else most people don't know. The Black Panther Party had an embassy in Algiers where they were recognized as a revolutionary group along with the North Vietnamese, and they had an embassy. So, and the first group of people that went to Red China were Panthers before Richard Nixon went.
Wow.
Was Panthers, and recognized as a revolutionary group within the United States.
Wow.
And that's something most people don't know. But it's because we considered the party a continuum of struggle. So we looked at the Black Panthers Party as just a continuum. From the times they took us from Africa, there's been what people really don't understand and don't know is black people that came to these shores resisted.
Right.
There was not a time in any of those situations where black folks didn't fight
Right.
for their and even with most people don't think about, like, you think about John Brown,
Okay.
right?
John Brown, the white man.
The white man, right? John
Yeah,
Brown.
Right.
But guess what? There was blacks with John Brown. There was
Right.
blacks that was also hung with John Brown. And most
Right.
people don't even realize that's the case.
Right.
And guess who else would have been hung? Harriet Tubman. Because she gathered people to go with John Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
They couldn't catch Harriet.
Yeah,
Tubman,
but
though.
Harriet, the only reason Harriet wasn't at Harper's Ferry is because she got sick.
Right. Wow.
That's another place that's interesting for you. If you ever think about when you go traveling,
Okay.
go to Auburn, New York.
Right.
That's where she's.
That's what she
That's where.
settled at after she. That's where she died.
That's how she's buried there.
She's buried there.
Yeah, she's buried in Auburn. But Harriet used to. That was her home. She had a home there,
Okay.
and she would sit on the side of the highway and sell butter
Yeah.
to make her trips back down south. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. That lady was like.
She was-
like.
And we look at that as but Harriet was just another continuum until and the Black Panther parties. But since the Black Panther Party, unfortunately, 60 years have passed. Almost 60 years have passed,
Right.
and there hasn't been a movement like the party since the Black Panther Party,
Why do you think that is?
because of lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge
Yeah.
and all other things they throw into deter
Yeah,
people and young
we was
people's
hoping
mind.
we was hoping that Black Lives Matter. We was hoping they would do something, but
Nah.
Different generation.
it's a different it's a different generation, and unfortunately for us, like I don't want to glamorize what we did, but one of the main reasons the party failed is that the people wasn't ready for it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, the people itself, there's just different groups, but in reality, the Panthers was far ahead of the people themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think at that time when they had the Panthers and things, they said, I mean, there was whole committees and just like dedicated to make sure that we do everything to not have this
happen again.
Awakening happen again, and that's part of why you don't, like you say, that you don't have it now. It's structured and programs, the way they program people, and
To make sure they don't stop.
they don't stop. Yeah, they throwing nonsense in this decade and that decade.
Distractions.
So, like if you look at rap music,
Yeah.
rap music when it started, they
Well,
you know,
EPMD, not EPMD. Chuck D and them tried for a walkout.
Public Enemy.
Public
Yeah.
Enemy, they did try.
But
and
they
did-
followed. They was
Yeah.
following like the Last Poets,
Right, right.
that, and them. You
Right.
know, the cultural music again of the
Right.
60s and 70s.
Right.
Is what Chuck D and them.
Right.
Look
And they
at.
neutralized
Even, what's
them.
his name? Common, because I've heard some stuff
Right.
that Common has
Right.
said. But for me, my old ears, I
Right.
can't. I don't hear it. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I can't get it.
Yeah, you're from another time.
Yeah.
But right, but see, when they had groups like Public Enemy and stuff like that. They neutralized them. They neutralized them by bringing NWA.
Well, they had to because
Yeah.
they had influence.
Yeah,
Right.
You understand? And
Yeah.
it was
they
positive.
made it cool
You know,
to
fight
you know,
the power. You know,
Yeah,
right,
you know,
exactly.
like no, we can't have this
Right,
again because
right,
that
right.
could have generated
Right.
the bigger Black Panther.
Right.
Exactly. Study, but the
Right.
next step, and we're always hoping for it. As 75, we still hope that the next generation
will pick up.
will do
on-
something.
Right,
We're
right.
not necessarily talking about armed struggle, but just
Right.
do some stuff.
Right,
You know,
right.
be able to make a change.
Right, right. Or
It's-
understand at least where.
Well, how I see it, I see a lot of different races. They stick together,
Okay, don't go. Okay.
and it seemed like for some reason we don't.
Incorrect. That's
Okay.
what they want us to believe.
Believe.
Because we would never have made it this far if we didn't stay together. What they've done to us is we say that and we believe that, but that's not true.
Right.
As a people, think about it. We came to these shores with nothing. And if you look at across America, everything that's positive, that's happened, like the inventions that's been made, has been made by Black folks.
Which I understand.
And together, community, they always say that. But if you just think about it, when I hear people say that, I said, wait, that's not true. Every group of folks have people in their group that don't stick together. They always say black on black crime.
Right.
But what about white
White
on
on
white
white
crime?
crime.
What about
Which is bigger than
Asian,
black and white.
Asian
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Asian
yeah,
crime?
yeah.
People, the
Power
difference
share.
between us and everybody else is they kill us too.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right.
That's the issue. So they bring up this thing, oh, black people don't stick together. But if we didn't stick together, we would not be here.
Got you.
We wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know.
So I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I stand.
Yeah.
I stand.
I mean, look at
And I
just
don't have a
look-
problem being
yeah.
corrected.
Look at the community.
You
Just look at
understand?
your community. Look
But
at the, yeah.
I know people like, all right, let's get together and start this business together. It sound good in the beginning,
Yeah.
but when it come down to where we got to get together, everybody got something else to do, or I'm
It's
not,
not a problem.
interested in
Yeah.
it. It's just,
But
it bothers me.
Yeah,
Because
I
I know
understand.
how far we could go.
I understand,
You understand?
that, but we have
We the
gone
best
along.
consumers in the world. We consume everybody's stuff. But
I agree. I understand on an economic level, you could be right about certain things, but as a people, that is not that's a general thing, and as a people, that is not the case. It is not the case. If we as a people did not stick together,
Right.
we wouldn't be here. We
Right.
definitely wouldn't be here. And the problem is this.
okay.
The
I
problem is
wanna
this.
be-
Let me
I
just say that.
understand. I
The
get you.
problem
I
is
get
this.
you.
We
I get
cannot
you.
assimilate.
but I'm gonna be the devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
We entertaining the world.
Yeah, right.
Wow, did I lose my thought? Ah.
She right.
See, I'm not. I'm
No,
not going against you.
but I was just saying.
I just want to
going
be
to say.
a
I was going
little.
to say this. Every other group except us can assimilate to the white man. We can go into him. You know, they're not. If you got the color,
Right.
We as a people can't do that.
No, you're
So
right.
we
Because
so,
we got other people coming from other countries, and they get everything when they get here.
yeah,
And
it's
we've been here.
It's because of that whole lie that's been told around the
Right.
world.
Right.
But it's not the case. It's not the case. If like there's a thing, I don't know, if we just said for just a moment they want all black people to leave, like
The world
like,
we're in.
it would America
Yeah.
would fall on its face.
Within
Right.
30 days.
Exactly. And other people would be running too. The
Right.
foreigners that are here would be running.
Right.
It's that whole lie. It's a big fat lie
And if they want you to believe.
that they want us,
Just
and we
illusion.
do believe it.
Right.
Most of us do believe that
Right.
we don't, we don't stick together. We don't do this together. But nobody else does either. It's small percentages
Right.
in every group
Right.
that stick together.
Right.
There's not one group.
Okay.
Even with the
I got
look
it
at
back.
the Jews.
I got it back. We're going to go there.
Okay.
All right.
Right. No.
When we first started this interview, you said you live with your mom, grandmother, uncle,
Yeah,
everybody.
Right.
Today's world, I can't live with you.
Right.
We don't have that family structure no more.
Exactly.
Where if your mortgage is $2,000 and it's 6 of you in the house, it's not $2,000 for one person. If you split it up,
Right.
everybody can pay the mortgage, and you have more money to do other things that you might want to do, invest into other things. Right. So that's where I feel like sometimes I said we're not sticking together, because you have some people, it's not everybody,
Right.
but you have some people, which the true thing to do when you see those people, keep them apart from you.
Yeah.
Find people that's
Keep
in the
stepping.
same structure
Exactly. The same
of wanting to do
like
what you want to do,
Same
because
like
you
mind.
now we can build.
Exactly.
Because that's what your family did. Y'all built.
And the other people did. You just look. I mean, just think about. I mean, the history of Tulsa.
Tulsa,
You know, yeah, Rosewood,
Black Wall
yeah,
Street.
right? Yeah, look at those places. But you could take a number of places in the South,
Yeah.
all over the South, where people owned just everything. We have the Black Panthers. We have a film festival every year at the Maisel Cinema on 127th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. And this year, the topic was "Dare to Struggle, Dare to Win," and we had 97 and a 96-year-old that was there dealing with the civil rights movement in Enfield, North Carolina, where at 9 o'clock, the film was called 9 O'Clock Whistle. I think you could look it up.
Wow.
It's called 9 O'Clock Whistle. So black people at 9 o'clock had to be out of town. They would whistle, this whistle would go off, making them leave.
Sundown town.
Yes, yeah. But this is in Enfield, North Carolina. This was
Wow.
like during the civil rights. It was before the civil rights movement, but they broke it down because and it was during segregation. So what they started doing is protesting. So then they created a law that if you was 21 and under, you could get arrested for protesting. That's what the law said.
Wow.
So these people, then the parents started going to the demonstrations and making the protests. But it shows you the strength, the community, the
Right,
ability
right,
of
right.
people
Right.
in struggle
Right.
that we had to endure during the
Right.
time,
Right.
because none of you would remember, but I can remember going down south in the summer and going to the movies, and the black folks upstairs and the white people downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, and this woman was talking about this. They was talking about it, but the organizing in Enfield, and the most two places is our most powerful networks. One actually is the church, the black church, and a lot of people are down the black church, but the black church in every of our movements, including when we was in the Black Panther Party, we were Marxists, Leninists, anarchists, didn't believe, but the breakfast programs was run out of churches.
Wow.
So what does that mean? We went to the minister to see if we could get these programs,
Right.
and it was done. So we have our institutions, and that's in every little area. But what's happened now, unfortunately, is that we don't have communities anymore.
Right.
That is the basic. That's the main
That's
thing.
very important.
We don't have communities.
Like you sitting here, and I look at you as the root
Okay.
of let's say a tree.
Right.
You dug down. You sturdy.
Right.
You understand? But the world only focus on the leaf, which the wind come by,
Gone. Exactly.
You understand? You still there. It don't matter. The storm come, the rain come, the wind come. You still digging. At 75, you still digging. You're going down because you're the structure. And a lot of people, I don't want to focus on what that was your time.
And it's true. It was our time.
It's your time. But if I'm listening to you correctly, your time is still our time.
Right. Well, over time, these people, like, the way I think, why things are different now and not like that, is because they find out ways to detour people's minds and put things into society to make people stay away from those things. Like we don't have like you said, we don't have community anymore. You know,
No.
now you got the
You
internet.
know, like back in our times, every summer was the block party. The
Right.
block got together.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
All the
Community.
neighbors got together.
We don't even have things from our time.
Right.
That we used to
It's
do
they eliminate
in the 80s and
that,
the-
which was
yeah.
positive. It wasn't
Right. Right.
Right.
brawls coming out when we was coming up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At a certain time, when we had block parties here, the kids would go in at a certain time, and then the parents would go out to
Right.
the end the
Right.
party.
Right.
You
Right.
understand?
Right.
Right.
And it was peaceful. It was everybody got their time to enjoy it.
Important thing she said a moment ago is, and this is one of the reasons why, I did the interview with my mother. Yo, the elders are getting old and they're dying out. Once they see, this is what they're waiting for. What I think,
Right.
all the people to die so they can have their way
So that's why they want to
with
get rid of
what
the
they
history
have
book.
left.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
right.
important for elders like her and other people to talk about these things, so we'll know we have
And you
something
continue.
to continue. That's what they praying on. That's what they don't stop, man.
That's the plan.
Yeah, they don't stop.
Yeah.
They don't stop, man. So I'm grateful to have you here.
But thank you. One of the things that we was at this black men educators convening. That was 2 weeks ago. I was there.
Right.
1,500. It was 1,500 educators. And one of the things that me, my comrade, and this other brother was from SNCC, so we're the elders in the room, and we was looking at them, and we came to the conclusion, you know what the problem is? We took most of these educators in the room are educators, right?
Mhm.
With PhDs.
Right.
So, but the difference in the period of time that I'm talking about with SNCC and with the Black Panther parties is we took theory and put it into practice.
Okay.
The problem today is we got a lot of people with theories, but there is no
Conspiracy
practice.
theories.
No practice.
No
Yeah,
practice.
no practice.
And that, I think, is the issue. I think that is the major issue.
Right.
You know, you gain this knowledge, but you don't put anything into practice.
Yeah.
We would take, like, it was mandatory that we read the Black Panther Party newspaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we get the Black Panther Party newspaper, we read it. We had to sell the paper. So we sell the paper, but we had, before we went out to sell that paper, we had to know everything in that paper.
Okay.
It's the same thing with the Nation of Islam.
Right.
All of them. You
Right.
had to read the paper and
Right.
to gain the knowledge to know what's in it, right? But we would see something in the paper and say, oh, wow, that's something. And we would go to put it into practice.
Mm-hmm.
In Corona, for example, we had a lot of hit and runs on Northern Boulevard. People would come through Northern Boulevard like they was on the Grand Central.
Mm.
And people were getting hit.
Wow.
Why were they getting hit? No control of the traffic. There's no traffic lights.
There's no traffic lights.
So if you drive down Northern Boulevard today, you go down Northern Boulevard, just think that everywhere except the 112th Street and another one, I think 108th and 94th Street,
Okay.
before there was traffic lights. But all of the other traffic lights that you see on Northern Boulevard, when you see those traffic lights, you have to think of one thing: the Black Panther Party.
Wow.
We got those traffic lights
Put up. Wow.
put up, but it caused a problem. It caused some hurt as far as the party was concerned, because we had a demonstration in the street. We stopped traffic on Northern Boulevard, and in the afternoon, the middle of the day, when the truck drivers and all of them was coming through there, because that was the speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, we did it for several days, but one of those days, the police came out there and with billy clubs and stuff.
Wow.
And a sister, well, a brother got hit in the head, and then the woman
Wow.
got hit in the head.
Wow.
And they were saying they didn't know it was a woman, because at that time we were all wearing afros and
Right.
stuff like that. And then the final day, they took PS 92 schoolyard,
Mm-hmm.
and we was walking down 92 schoolyard, and they had a whole brigade with the horses.
Mm.
So if we would have gone into those streets that day,
Right.
but what happened is, of course, some of the older people in the neighborhood prevented it from happening, because God only knows what would have happened that day.
Right.
But if you, like I said, if you drive down Northern Boulevard, the traffic lights that are on Northern Boulevard was the cause was Black Panther Party,
Wow.
and that was in 1969. And we sent letters. We sent letters to the mayor. We sent letters to the traffic people. We sent all of this stuff before we actually went into the street.
Wow.
So that's one accomplishment from my day in the Black Panther Party in Corona, and it's still there,
Still there
effective.
today.
So put up
And
some
the other
traffic
thing
lights.
for us is we was on the first Library Action Committee when they started Langston Hughes Library. Panthers was a part of that, and it's
That's-
still there.
The same thing that went on here with all of what you're talking about. When I went to South Africa the last time, when we went to Soweto, we went to a part where they have like a little memorial of, I forget the lady's name, and my friend met her earlier this year. It's a picture of a guy holding her brother it was an uprising there.
In Soweto, yeah.
Yeah, it's like even all the way in South Africa, they were doing the same things, man.
Well, the blueprint for apartheid is Jim Crow.
It's Jim Crow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the big Bible.
That was the blueprint. Everything that happened in South Africa originally happened here in America.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
You know, and one of the things I asked the tour guide when he would explain things to us, like, you come to Africa, yo, and telling people what they can do and what they can't do, and this is their place. These people are something else, man.
Yeah, but like I said, the blueprint came from America.
From here, yeah,
from America.
The same thing happened to us here.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
They created it here,
right?
And do you know something else? Are your family's from the South?
Yeah, my mother's from Alabama. My father's from the West Indies.
My mother's from the West Indies.
Well, my mother's from Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you know there's a difference between the slave and the enslavement of people from the West Indies than from here?
Oh yeah.
What is the difference?
Yeah, the difference to me, what I gathered, the slaves in the West Indies, I don't think, to me, they didn't have it as bad as we did. I guess it varies from island to island.
If I'm not mistaken, Jim Crow started in the West Indies.
Well,
They
let
got
me
somebody
just
that came from there.
no, that's not a true statement.
A lot of the programs,
they say that, but that's not true.
A lot of the programs, I think, came from the West Indies and how they controlled slaves.
Yeah, that's not true. You
Okay.
know, let me just tell you
Go ahead.
something that the difference, the major difference is the family. In the West Indies, they didn't take the mother away from her child.
Oh.
I bet you, if you talk to your grandmother, they can give you generations back on their families. If they,
Yeah, and everybody know each other.
right, I'm
They
talking
didn't
about
separate-
generation.
they
They didn't
separate
separate.
them.
They did not separate. To show you how important the family structure is.
Right,
In the United States,
right.
they separated the children. They separated the husband from the wife. They were breeders,
Yeah,
and that was
yeah,
it.
yeah,
They didn't do
yeah.
that in the West
Oh, I
Indies.
didn't know that.
That's the
I
difference.
didn't know that.
That's the difference.
Makes
Most people
sense.
don't know that.
Wow,
That is the
a
di-
lot of knowledge today.
Yeah. So there,
Wow.
it shows you how important the family structure
Right,
is.
right,
Because they didn't take a mother from her child. They didn't sell a child
Right.
from the mother.
because I heard that was a big thing here, and even in watching Roots,
Right.
and that was so traumatic to me to just even watch that, and on the program, the way they would just separate and sell the kid to, even in 12 Years a Slave.
Right.
The girl, she was distraught. They sold her kids. She couldn't stop crying, and she was just, I
Right.
said,
But
wow.
that's in America.
Wow.
They didn't do that in the West Indies.
Wicked, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other thing is the fact that what in Roots was really the worst part of Roots.
The worst part of Roots to me, wow. Sure.
Change his name.
Thank you.
Say that again?
Change his name.
His
Oh,
name.
What's your
yeah,
name?
yeah.
Toby.
To strip you
Yeah.
from who you are.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the point.
We don't know who we are. Let me elaborate on that while we're there. At work, I come through a lot of different peoples and different cultures, IDs and their names and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I get frustrated because of you got a name this long. Man, one of the reasons why I'm probably pissed off sometimes because it's that stuff like that's been stripped away from me. They know who they are.
They know
They know
who
Those
they are.
names and stuff
Exactly.
is important. We don't
Exactly.
know.
No.
They took all of that stuff away from us.
Exactly.
See, that's psychological.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They knew what they were
They knew
doing.
what they
that's
doing.
that was part of
That
the
was
whole
part of the plan.
of enslavement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's
Strip them of everything.
Everything,
Don't let them know who
including
they
their
were.
name.
But
Right.
then that also shows if they take that away from you, that's like royalty they removing.
Yeah, you don't know who you are.
You understand? I'm acting and living beneath who I am.
Right.
We
right.
kings.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Why should I act like a peasant when I'm a
Exactly.
king? Who are you to
Right.
tell me what to do?
Right.
I should be telling you what to do.
Right.
But that was the history.
Well, they know if
They go back
people
that
don't know
far.
where they are. That's why it's big in, destroying books and different things. That they don't want you to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to go forward in the right way.
It's true.
As
And
a people.
As a
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
in 2012, I think it was, when I had an uncle that passed away,
Okay.
and when he died, we found out about all these daggone kids he had.
Wow.
We found out, and what it did is it made us look at our family, and
Okay.
I was blessed again to do the DNA.
Mm.
And I encourage people to do it.
I was going to speak on that. Yeah.
I encourage
Yeah.
people to do it because guess what happened? I found out that this is the mitochondria DNA. It's from my mother's side because women can only do their mothers.
Okay.
Men could do both,
Okay.
the mother and the father, but a woman can only do
The mother.
the mother.
Okay.
Yeah, so and it gives you the DNA trace of the DNA.
Right.
And I found out that one of the DNAs for me was the Kru people of
Wow.
Liberia.
Uh-huh.
Liberians, they're the original ones. They're not the ones that was in America and went back to.
Okay.
They were the original. But guess what they did?
What they did.
They were fishermen, and they resisted the slave trade. So they would
Wow.
put a red marking on their face.
Wow.
And I looked at that and said, my family, they love fishing.
Right.
And so even that, to learn about that.
Right.
And we're
Where it
talking
came
about my grandmother's
Right.
grandmother's
Right.
grandmother's grandmother's
Right.
grandmothers
Right.
are the Kru people of Liberia.
It's funny that
It's-
you just said that. 'Cause when we were talking, that's what I had in my head. A few years ago, I did my ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm 96% African, and I'm only, I'm 96% African through the DNA.
Was it your dad's? You did the DNA for
I
your-
did. Well, it gives both sides. It gives
Okay.
my
'Cause of-
mother
Yeah,
and my
because a
father.
man can do both.
Yeah, it gives both sides. My father's from. He was born in St. Vincent, raised in Trinidad. So
Okay.
the West Indian side.
Right.
It comes the same African slaves. My mother's from Alabama.
Uh-huh.
But it gives you all the different tribes and stuff that your blood run through.
Right.
But that's important, man.
It's important. And if you read the people of those areas.
Right.
Yeah. Because I did it. And the other group for me was the Fulahs of Guinea-Bissau.
Wow.
And the Fulahs were Muslim.
Wow.
And for me, at the age of 30, to become a Muslim,
Right,
right. And to learn the history of them, and they were nomads. They too were nomads.
They were nomads.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I talk to people about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know.
You need to do that. Everybody needs to do that.
Right.
I mean, and not everybody, but African folks need to do
Right,
that.
where you came from.
Know where you
Very
came from.
important. Very,
Yeah.
very.
And I always use this as my subway to that. What Malcolm said, right?
What did he say?
A cat born in the oven does not make him a biscuit.
Right, he's a cat.
He's a guy.
He's a cat
And
born
that-
in the oven.
Right. So as a people,
Right,
we are Africans.
right. Yeah.
We're
And,
not
you
any
know,
other thing but
I
Africans.
talked to, and, even my mother, when we were younger, my mother, like in the 80s, she was like, we not African. I wasn't born in Africa, but she changed that after a while. Because my mother's 84.
Yeah.
Maybe about 4 years ago, my sister did her genealogy, and she was just excited. And when I went to Africa, and
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you are, we are Africa. That's
Exactly.
from you got Africans that don't like Black Americans and stuff like that, and Black Americans that say things about Africans. You're both wrong because we got the same ancestors.
That's right.
We all come from the same. Don't make no sense to me.
That's right.
You understand?
That's true.
We have the same. We come from the same people.
That's right.
You know,
Right.
little mixture here and there,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
come from
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
people, man. So that's very important.
Yeah. Exactly.
Knowing your genealogy and things like that.
Well, I'm sitting here. We didn't even get to the 80s, 90s, 2000s. This is not a one-part interview. You have so much knowledge. It just, wow, it's mind-blowing. It's really mind-blowing. It's, with us, we are intrigued because we like to know history. We want to know where we came from. You know what I'm saying? And, what I was saying earlier, some people will look at this show and say, I don't want to listen to that because they rather be entertained than enlightened. This takes us so past the spectrum where, to me, it means something. I am being entertained and
I was
enlightened.
going to say it's
Right.
it's
You know what I'm saying?
entertainment.
And enlightened at the same time. But some
Right.
people not going to look at it the same,
Right.
out of the same spectrum that I look at it from.
Okay.
So I definitely appreciate everything that you've given us. This is more than an interview to us.
Yeah, and
Yes,
we didn't
yeah,
even
yeah, this
talk
is-
about myself as much as we talked about history.
But I
right?
told you it was going to go.
Yeah. That's good.
That's
good.
the way this show goes.
Good,
We
good.
don't stick to one.
Good.
Right.
Script.
Yeah, we don't have tunnel vision.
No, okay. Okay.
We'll go all over the place,
Good,
but
good.
we end up coming back to the main
Okay.
topic.
Okay.
That's why it's the no label show. There's
Yeah.
no label.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yeah.
There's
What
no
else?
no restrictions with us.
Free spirited. Go. Yeah,
Just
it's
keep
good.
going. So it's up to you if you want to keep going.
What time is it?
well, we definitely
7:14.
we
We kind of picked one of the coldest days of the year.
right.
Yeah, it is the coldest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm satisfied with the interview, man.
Okay.
We've learned
But
a lot
we
of stuff.
definitely want you to come back.
Okay.
Yes.
But you know what? People call my house a museum.
Wow.
So maybe one time you guys could come over to my
Okay,
house and we
okay.
can,
You have a lot of like artifacts and different things. And,
Yeah. As
Wow.
my comrade would say, we can kick the willy bobo.
Wow. We used to say that in the 80s.
Right.
We always think things started with us, but as she said.
So what we'll
you're
do,
right.
Yeah.
we pack up the
This
equipment
and-
and we'll have the second interview at your house.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Most folks come to my house. They say, "Oh, it's like a museum."
It's
in
like a
here."
museum.
Yeah, it's stories.
Wow.
Stories. to
Very
tell.
interesting. I can say, man, the Ife, your daughter's a very. I've known your daughter since the '90s when she started first going out with Keenan.
Yeah.
Very, how can I say? And I always tell Keenan, man,
Well-grounded.
she's been the same person
Yeah.
since day one, and I know that her upbringing, I can see where it comes from.
Yeah.
I can see where it comes from. Very nice young lady. I thank you
Yeah.
for coming to do this
Oh
video
yeah.
and meeting
yeah.
you. And, it's really a pleasure.
Yeah.
Really a pleasure. Really.
Like I said, yeah, come to my house and we can do another one, and then you
Okay.
can see some of the stuff that I have because,
Okay.
like, I got back involved in 1997. Before that, I was interested in only raising the kids and doing work.
Right,
and
right.
always worked in the community also.
Right.
But in 1997, I got back involved with my comrades that I hadn't seen in 30 years.
Right.
And so from that, my house, somebody called my house the Airbnb of the party, the Black
Wow.
Panther party.
Wow.
So everybody stayed at my house. So many people have come through
Okay.
and has stayed there,
Wow, wow.
and tell me their stories and their stories,
Wow. Wow, that's very nice. I feel like we actually got something that nobody else has.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, right.
Right.
I ain't
This
seen
has been a
this.
blessing.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right, right.
we had no idea it was gonna go like this.
Yeah. This is called when the sisters get together. We, in South Carolina, we used to go to South Carolina to. We've gone like 3 different times. You know, with twice with our family, and it's by the water, which is so powerful.
Right.
And we do everything on nobody's time, but just, and we always come together and talk about history
Right.
and what happened and where we are, you know,
Wow.
and being close in some things that of course we can't talk about.
Right.
That happened to some of them, but
Right.
not to everybody.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. And
With that being said, we're gonna end the show, and as we do at every other show, Southside.
we outside. Oh man. Yeah, this was a nice interview. Thank you for your time.
Oh, sure.
Your
And
knowledge.
coming out on this cold day because it's cold.
Yeah, I was out. I've been out all day.
Story to tell. Yo, man, y'all niggas ain't gonna believe what the fuck happened to me.